Hi, loves. So it's story time in the Sisterhood of the Mermaid Moon, and this story goes back to ancient times. So before I get into this story, I just want to have a moment to send you some Palo Santo smoke. And I'm sending this to you etherically, so you can just close your eyes and actually receive this Palo Santo smoke. This wood is from a tree from South America. And its name Palo Santo literally translates into holy wood, and it's really powerful at energy clearing. So we're starting story time today with this. All right. Okay, thank you, Palo Santo. And that's going to continue to burn a little bit. All right, so this is how the story starts. Maybe around a few thousand years ago, we're not exactly sure when. Maybe longer than that. Men and women lived in equality and happiness and peace. And people understood that they had inherent masculine energy and inherent feminine energy. And this understanding allowed all the people to be very powerful because we were sovereign people. Thanks for the hearts, Miranda. So it allowed us to be sovereign people, powerful. And for some reason, there was something that happened that I'm still understanding and doing lots of kind of diving into. The powers that be that weren't the real powers that be, but you know what I mean by that, decided that maybe they would like to control the population. So all these powerful people running around Earth. And there was this desire that came from certain beings to control the population. So say, okay, how can we do this? So they decided, for some reason, that they would chop off the feminine aspect of what we knew to be true for ourselves. So we have that masculine and we have the feminine. And then these beings decided that the feminine would no longer be honored. So the masculine path of spirituality was still accepted, which means that clear, white, light, cosmic, above, transcending energy was honored and acceptable and good. But the feminine part of the path, which is soul-based, right? Spirit-based, soul-based, deep, connected to the darkness, sexuality, embodying sexuality, embodying the body itself, the blood mysteries, receptivity, black, red, snake medicine, the underworld. Think about what's under you. Mother Earth, the black soil of Mother Earth is under us. And they decided that this would no longer be appropriate. So this makes it very easy to control a population because when we're centered in both our masculine and feminine energies, we're sovereign and we know how powerful we are. We are the creators of our destiny. However, when we have our power cut off and we only are, connecting with the masculine side of ourselves in this case, we are cut off from our power and we're actually much easier to control. So how do they do this? Well, let's tell some stories. Let's tell a story of Adam and Eve, where the snake and the woman was responsible for the downfall of the world. Snake has long time been in cultures all over the world a powerful symbol, and even more than a symbol, of our primal sexual energy, our kundalini life force, and our wild power, our potential energy that can do anything. Everything is possible through the medicine of the snake. And you can look at cultures all around the world for stories about the snake and guidance around the snake. And even if you look into ancient mystery schools in Greece and Egypt, there is a heavy emphasis on working with snake medicine and the snake kundalini energy in our bodies for empowerment. So what do we do? What do these powers that be do? We tell them the snakes are evil. Snakes are wrong. This goes along with sexuality is evil. Sexuality is wrong. And then darkness is evil and darkness is wrong. But if you think about it, darkness is the cosmic womb. Look up at the night sky and feel all of that black. Does it feel evil to you? Just feel into the black energy of the sky at night. How does that feel? Pretty nurturing, actually. Think about the deep rest we receive at night when it's black, and it's this very receptive energy. You think about the new moon when there's no moon, very powerful. And you can think about the womb space that the babies are grown in, black energy, just black. You can think about the soil below us, the fecundity of the soil. So we have this in our story. We are cut off from our feminine knowingness. We're cut off from our feminine power. And how this affects us now is that in our modern day and age, we have us priestesses, and we're just remembering, a lot of us, that we are priestesses walking this path. And we are maybe pulled towards some of the darkness and dark ways of being. We're pulled towards sexuality. We're pulled towards snakes. We're pulled towards getting nitty and gritty. We're pulled towards being wild and kind of a bit rebellious. We're pulled towards this energy. And then we might also have some shame around that might come up. So let's talk about what darkness actually is and what's happened because of this disrespect of darkness. Darkness was always meant to be holy, sacred, and nurturing, and that's always been the case. That's always true about darkness. But since we've started to disrespect our darkness and demonize it, and you can see this everywhere, spiritual teachers even talk about, release the darkness, get away from the darkness. Darkness and evil are synonymous in our world. So this is a really dangerous thing because it's very easy to take away someone's power if we tell them that their darkness is evil and wrong. This is exactly what's happening on this planet. And so our true darkness was always meant to be embodied. Think about this lower energy in you. We're meant to embody our lower chakras. We're meant to embody our connection with the darkness. We're meant to be there. But if we believe that being in our darkness and being powerful from Mother Earth and being those wolf creatures is wrong, then we're going to hang out in our higher chakras. We're going to hang out in the light, and we're not going to embody both our light and our dark. And what happens when we're not embodying our dark? Well, the nature of darkness means it's easy to hide in the darkness because there's no light to see with. So darkness, when it's embodied and when it's in its true state, is limitless potential. It's the unknown. It's pure space. But if we're not embodying it, then guess what? Little gremlins and things that we want to sweep under the rug are going to go into our darkness, right? We're going to sweep things away. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that emotion. I don't want to deal with this, et cetera, et cetera. So we sweep it away. And we use our darkness with disrespect. We use our darkness how it was never meant to be used. We're meant to embody our darkness, but instead we use it as a place to put the things that we're not comfortable with. We're not comfortable with them because we've bought this idea of right and wrong so intensely that everything that we might deem wrong, we put into this darkness space. So what happens when we start to embody our darkness? We start to wake up. We start to go there. Well, in our darkness, we inevitably have these gremlins hanging out. And so this is where a lot of the misunderstanding comes about darkness. We're like, I hear people all the time going, I'm called to go in my darkness. And then they say, I'm called to go in my darkness, so I'm in a lot of pain right now. I'm called to go in my darkness, so I'm spending a lot of time in my pain and my turmoil, and this is my darkness, and I'm not ready to go into the light yet. You're not in your darkness. You're starting to embody the darkness, and you're catching into your gremlins that have been hiding in the darkness. When you're embodying your darkness and in your true darkness, it's a very comfortable, nourishing space to be. It's not full of pain and torture and anger and all of these things. But if we've been disrespecting our darkness, like pretty much all of us have because of how we've been trained and because of the story I just told, then when we go into the darkness, we end up finding these gremlins. So what do we need to do? We actually do need to shine the light just in the darkness, we're going to let the darkness go back to being its darkness. So we're going to shine the light and blast those gremlins. We're going to say, I see you. There you are. There you are. There you are. You're going back to source. You're going back to source. All those gremlins, we're going to give back to source. And then we can stop with the light, and the light can do its thing in the light areas. And the darkness is now clear. Those gremlins have been released back to source. And now when we're embodying our darkness and we're sitting with our darkness, we're actually in a very nourishing, beautiful, limitless potential space. Very, very powerful space to be in. This is the power of the deep feminine. The darkness is the power of the deep feminine. So in this day and age, we don't have a lot of the power of the deep feminine going on because people associate their darkness with their pain, and we're getting all confused, right? So darkness is not synonymous with pain or evil. When you're going into your darkness, you might brush up against painful situations because we haven't been embodying our darkness. And since we haven't been embodying our darkness, those gremlins have had a place to hide, okay? So that is a key distinction, because we have to be able to embody both the light and the dark in integration and with equal respect to both of these places in order to come into our sovereignty. Male, female, light, dark, spirit, soul. We have to embody all parts of ourselves. And the darkness is not our shadow side gremlins. It's just that our shadow side gremlins have been hanging out in the darkness because we haven't been in the darkness knowing what's going on. Okay, so this is a really, really key distinction, because even us talking about our darkness in the ways that we do now, oh, I'm going through, oh, that's darkness and they have dark energy and I don't want to go there, and et cetera, or whatever it is, we're consistently disrespecting the deep feminine. And in order to rebalance our world, we need to honor and empower the deep feminine. So I'm going to challenge you and give you some homework to be very mindful of how you use the terminology that's associated with darkness. Dark, black, night, darkness, etc. I want you to be very present with how you use these terms. Are you saying darkness when you really mean what I would say would be shadow, gremlins, vampire-like energies, things that are out of alignment? Be present with the terminologies that we use, because it's time that we reclaim our vocabulary, because reclaiming our vocabulary goes hand in hand with reclaiming our power as deep feminine vessels for the divine. So this is the transmission that I wanted to share with you today, and it is at the core of a lot of what comes through me, a lot of the teachings that come through me. And I'm really excited to be able to be here with you all and to marinate in this and go deeper into this, because it's a really, really key thing for all of us. And guess what? In darkness, sexuality is in the domain of darkness. So reclaiming our darkness also means we're reclaiming our sexuality. And that's really, really fun. So I am sharing this with you in the Sisterhood of the Mermaid Moon right now, but I'm actually going to be sharing this video outside of the Sisterhood of the Mermaid Moon as well. So if you're not already a part of our private Facebook group, Sisterhood of the Mermaid Moon, I'm going to leave a link in the title for you to join us over in this group, because we're going to have lots of juicy discussions, and it's an awesome group. A lot of you watching are already in the group, watching it in the group, but and it's a super fun group. It's a super amazing place to share and connect and share your ideas and share your work and share your vulnerability and learn a lot and grow a lot as priestesses on this path. So many blessings to you, and again, I want to encourage you to sit with that. Be present with how you're using the terms darkness, and rather than glorifying being in your pain because you think I'm in my darkness, so I'm in my pain, and I'm glorifying being in this pain because I'm in my darkness. Being in pain is not being in your darkness. It's not the same thing. Being in your pain is connecting with those gremlins. Being in your true darkness is being in a very nurturing, safe, limitless potential place. They are different things. Let's start acting like it. Okay, blessings to you, sisters. You're so amazing. Thank you for being here. And Miranda says, thank you, Beth. Love you too. And yeah, Miranda has some of this deep energy going on too that we connected in our last call with. So exciting. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'm stoked to keep this conversation going, and have the best day ever. Enjoy your darkness, enjoy your light, because it's all super juicy.